Hello all, we're at this beautiful spillway beach thing. This is Rockford Beach, and we're here to fish. The ponds have sucked lately because I think the water temperature is still too low, but there should be some fish here. So we're gonna use cut bait and we're gonna use worms. We might try fishing above the spillway too, because I know the water's fairly deep here, but there's a lot of water rushing here, and I do think there's some fish below the falls. So hopefully we can actually catch something today. All right, let's get a piece of chum in there and see how we do. I think that's where the water is kind of like the deepest, so we're just gonna toss near there and rev it in a little bit and see how that does. The wind is very, very strong today, as my chair just blew over, but we'll see. We'll get some worms in there too, and hopefully we can actually get something. This is one of the more scenic spots I've fished, but unfortunately, fish do not seem to really like scenery all that much. It is pretty low. It is actually pretty low to the ground, so shouldn't be too bad for the wind, but today is 20-mile-an-hour winds, so fishing anywhere else except for really low areas would be kind of foolish. Got myself a worm and a cut bait out there. I'm gonna use the deadly Bobby Garland to see if I can get anything. I've seen a couple of fish jump out of the water. I'm not really sure if they're like shad or something, or they actually like predatory fish. If they're white bass here, or smallies here, they should actually bite this. I got one. I got a fish. And it is, oh yeah, it's a wally. That's a nice, is that a smallie or a wall? No, it's a smallmouth bass. A nice little smallmouth. Very, very nice bass. Yeah, it's fat, man. It's a fat smallie. Very nice smallie. I think this is either, this might be a largemouth or a spotted. It might be a spotted. The mouth looks a little too big to be a smallmouth, but a nice first fish. Now let's let it go. All right, bass. Thanks for playing. You get to go back in the nice water. And there it goes, there it goes. Healthy bass, healthy bass. Good to get the skunk off the board. Let's even get another one. The Bobby Garlands are deadly and they are working. They are most definitely working. That was just a couple of casts in and we already got one. There probably is a lot of them here. This is a prime smallie country, actually. I think that was actually a spotted. The mouth looked too big to be a smallmouth bass. I think it might have been a spotted bass, but either way, that's a good start, good start. Well, that Bobby Garland did get us that one bass. Didn't get any hits after that, so we're gonna change to a bigger lure, slightly bigger lure, the blade bait. Still hittable by all sorts of smallmouth and white bass. And this thing kind of jigs up and down by itself, so I don't have to dig as much. I saw a couple of fish jumping, but they actually might be carp and not anything else. So we'll have to see how this goes. The current's actually pretty strong when you get on this part of the divide. So hopefully I can get something with this. I think I got one of these suckers finally. Yeah, it's on. What is it? Oh, that's why I couldn't get it. It's a bluegill, a bluish gillish fish. Okay, so they're definitely here. If the bluish gillish fish are here, well then, other fish are probably here too, like bigger ones. I'm gonna throw this back in and see if we can get more bluish gillish fish. There's the old bait-thieving rascal. It's a bluegill. I might have to use one of these as live bait if there are indeed flatheads here, which I suspect there will be later at night. So a bluegill. All right, you're lucky. You're my first bluegill, so I'm not going to sacrifice you. So just gonna let you go, and there you go, right off. Don't think the ones that were hitting my bait, all of them were bluegill. I saw bigger fish jump up, so I'm going to sling this a little bit further into the current and see if I can get something besides bluegills here. This hook should be small enough for anything to actually bite. So we shall see if there's anything besides bluegills here. It's good I'm actually catching fish here. The last two times I came were in December and January, and nothing was biting here. So at least in April, we know there are smallies biting here, and we know there are bluegills biting here. What else? I'm not really sure. I might switch back to the Bobby Garland in a while, because this really isn't working all that well. We're not really that close to nightfall, so maybe the gato fish won't be gatoing for a while. They would bite the worm anyways. So hopefully we can get something else here. And this is a fish, and I don't think it's a bluegill. It's a little bit, it could be one, but I think it's a little too big to be one. Nope, it is a, what is that? Is that a walleye? Or it's a gato fish. All right, it's a gato fish. It's a channel catfish. Third fish of the day, third species of the day. So they are actually hitting. A tiny little channel catfish. I like that. rascal got away while I was trying to wash some sand off of it. So yeah, I brought it in, but that was a good catch, a channel gato fish. So they are biting. Hopefully there's bigger ones out there. The smaller ones always bite in lower temperatures than the bigger ones do. But hopefully we can get something good. Almost sunset. Kind of like the time I wait for when I fish. That's when some of the bigger fish start hitting. I know there's got to be some bigger catfish around here, but only that small one has bit. If there's one small catfish, there's probably a whole group of them. And hopefully they will hit when the sun really starts setting. There's a bunch of bluegill here and they keep hitting my worm. So I'm not actually interested in that. Caught like one bluegill, got one cut bait out, but nothing's hit the cut bait. I know there are both channels and flatheads here, but no big ones have actually come to bite. I think something's got the pole. That could just be the current. Yeah, it's a fish, I think. Yep, it's a fish. I feel the drag. It is a, what is that? Is that a shad? Oh, it's a gizzard shad. It is a gizzard shad. That makes excellent bait. I didn't know gizzard shads actually bit worms, but apparently gizzard shads do bite worms. I got a gizzard shad. Is this a gizzard shad or a moon eye? I think it's a moon eye. It has teeth on its tongue, so I'm not really sure what it is. It might be a moon eye or a gold eye. All right, there we go. I will ask people what this is first. All right, second day on the big river, which isn't actually that big, but it's pretty big here actually. Downstream from where we were the first day, we are at Bynes Mill City Park, and we're gonna fish for some glorious fish. There's a lot of access points, like the river is actually pretty busy here, and it's actually fairly high today. So this might be a little bit tough. I'm gonna try to look for the eddies. This isn't like Rockford Beach where there's like a very, very set place where you can actually fish. You kind of have to like just go down and see like what's a good place to fish. Obviously, this is not a good place with all the sloping downs. Over there is probably where I'm gonna go and probably where I'm gonna set up. I can also fish here. I need a place where the current isn't running so wild because that would actually be bad. And I also need a place where I could actually set things. So I think like this area, definitely, where the road comes down here is kind of like where I'm gonna fish. So let's get our baits in the water and see if we can get some glorious fish. This actually looks like a really good area right here, around this area. It looks fairly deep. The current looks decently strong, but it's not like super strong. I can set my poles in and just like this little eddy pool right here that I can just fish off the main river. All right, let's get fishing. Let's just toss this worm. We're also gonna toss the cut up moon eye I had yesterday, and then we're gonna jig around for a while because I think there is probably some other stuff here that, maybe some smallies or something, that really likes the current. So that's what we're actually going to do. Wind's pretty strong, so it's gonna be a little bit problematic, but we will see. Bobby Garland caught me stuff yesterday. Let's see if we can catch something today. This is a bit of a harder spot. It's not as good as Rockford Beach. And I don't know, the current's much stronger here, so I'm not really sure how much fish there's gonna be. I thought this was like a calm eddy pool, but it's not. The main river, obviously the current's much stronger, but this is a very, very strong reverse eddy current. So it's gonna be kind of difficult today. Hopefully we can catch something today here. I know people have caught fish here. Don't know if they catch many of them here though. Finally, I have a fish. I think it's a drum, but I'll take a fit. Yeah, it is a freshwater drum, but you know what? After so long of not getting a fish, I will take any fish. Freshwater drum, right off the eddy. I like that, I like that. I will take it. I will gladly take it right now. Freshwater drum. A little sheephead fish. All right, first fish of the day after like an hour or two. I will take it, I will take it. All right, little dude, you were my first fish. Oh man, I've been waiting such a long time for a fish. So there you go, fish. There you go, right off into the depths. Some days you catch a drum after a drum and you just wish those things would leave you alone. Other days like this, you can't catch anything and you will take a drum. I will gladly take a drum today. Hopefully we can get more fish, more of the gato-ish variety, but any fish is good now. Any fish is actually good now. Looks like we got another one. I mean, that pole's shaking like crazy, so we got a fish. Looks like I just had to keep it out in the current without like too much. And oh, it's a gato fish. So there are fish here today. And it looks like that one might, nope, that big pole did not have a fish. It's just debris. Ah, debris. All right, a gato fish. It's a small one though. It's a small channel, but we'll take a gato fish. Fish seem to be hitting now, and that's a good sign. A gato-ish small channel catfish. Hopefully there are bigger fish here, but I will take it. A channel gato fish. You are not my first fish channel, but you are my first gato-ish fish. So I will definitely take it. A small channel catfish. Usually this wouldn't be anything to celebrate, but at least the catfish are somewhat active. See, a small channel. This spot on this tree stump looks pretty clutch. Seems like I got another fish. Took my string way out there. Oh, is that a drum? Is that a gato fish? It's another gato fish. Another small channel. Looks like this place is full of them. But I wish there were bigger ones. Really wish there were bigger ones. Might have to put on the bigger bait on this too, eventually. Oop, there's a channel. Oh, and yep, there it goes. Fell off the hook. Channel gato fish. That was a fun 2 days on the Big River. However, the Big River did not live up to its name. It did not give me any big fish. I did catch a couple of small catfish, obviously, that bass. I think that was a goldeye that I caught and a bluegill. There were a lot of bluegill bites, but I wasn't really after bluegill. There's some walleye in that waterfall area, but they just weren't really biting any of my lures. And I know there were a couple of carp there, but they weren't biting the worms either. So I think it's still a little early to fish that area because there's supposed to be a lot of smallies there later in the year. The water is still kind of cold. We haven't had a really big warm stretch of several weeks in St. Louis yet. And so I think if you fish it at the beginning of May, that's probably like the best time because we do have a couple of warm weeks coming up. Unfortunately, I won't be here. I'll be back in Wisconsin. But still a pretty fun time. So I do think Rockford Beach obviously is the better location. It's a better setup. But Bynes Mill actually might have the bigger catfish. That area, like at Bynes Mill, the river is actually a lot wider and a lot bigger. And it's downstream from Rockford Beach. So nice two places. A lot of good smallie action I can definitely see at Rockford Beach. And I think you can get like really good smallies at Bynes Mill as well. So definitely like really good smallie action on the Big River at those locations. Hope you enjoyed this video. Like and subscribe. I know you're disappointed because I didn't catch a big fish, but I can't catch a big fish every single video. That doesn't really happen for me. And when I get back into Wisconsin and catfish season comes back in, you will see a lot more big fish, especially for catfish carp. And I'll probably catch a few good bass this year too. So that's the news. So that's all for today. Hope you enjoyed it. Like and subscribe, and I will see you guys later.